The last few days have been absolutely crazy. We saw Israel blew up the beepers of Hezbollah terrorists in what I and many others are calling the most targeted attack in world history, and then doing it again to all of the people that they missed the first time, just to stick it to the terrorists. Then we saw Desantis telling Florida investigators to look into the second assassination attempt privately, but of course, hacking the Trump campaign and then turning all of that information into the Harris campaign, which makes me have even less remorse for them than I already did, which was none anyway. All of that and more on today's episode.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
So, digging right in, we actually have the feds are standing in the way. What else is new? Then we saw Iran, a lot of stuff. Okay, we have a lot of stuff going on here. We have the feds are not cooperating in this private Desantis investigation, which Ron DeSantis, he's just an awesome governor. He knows exactly how to govern. Like I said, I wish that he was a VP, but of course, you can't have a president and a VP coming from the same state, so it's not really going to work. So that's exactly the reason here. So DeSantis says that the feds are not cooperating with the Florida's probe into the assassination attempt, and the answer is no, they are not being cooperative, DeSantis said. He said this during an interview on Thursday night, that the federal investigators are not cooperating with state officials who are conducting their own investigation into the second assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. The governor made remarks during an interview on Fox News' Laura Ingraham after signing an executive order earlier this week authorizing Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody to conduct a criminal investigation into the incident that unfolded over the weekend at the Trump International Golf Course. The answer is no, they are not being cooperative, DeSantis said when asked about the matter. I am concerned, for example, we have rebuffed, our investigators were rebuffed just going into the fence line outside of the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. He said that the Biden-Harris administration does not want the state of Florida to be involved in this investigation, adding that he does not expect them to cooperate at all. But here's the thing, there were multiple versions of Florida law across multiple jurisdictions. He said, we think at least 3 judicial circuits this guy committed potential violations of Florida law. So we have the duty to investigate this. We have a duty to bring the appropriate charges, and we also have a duty to inform the public about how this happened. And I completely agree with this. Is exactly why Ron DeSantis is easily the best governor, if not then the top 2-3 governors. Okay, very, very good. I love how Ron DeSantis just wants to get the job done. He's like, listen, I don't want to hear all of your BS excuses. I don't trust the feds to investigate this. We're going to investigate this myself. We're going to investigate this statewide, and then we're going to release this to the public to be fully transparent. That's an awesome thing to do, because the feds don't want to actually tell the truth about what's going on because they don't care. They're just trying to hide for and shill for this administration, because if they don't shill for this administration, then these people in the federal government will have no jobs because Trump will replace all of these people. DeSantis said that he does not believe that the public has any confidence in the investigation, and that was part of the reason they declined the state needed to launch its own probe. Decided to launch its own probe. So as soon as we got word of this on Sunday, I told our guys in the state law enforcement, save all the social media because Facebook will delete it. The tech companies want to delete it. He said, get his digital trail, store that, because we need to know. How did he end up in Florida to begin with? What was his path? What was this path this guy was taken to end up in those bushes trying to assassinate the former president of the United States and current Republican nominee? How did that happen? And I completely agree. Quote, and we have not gotten any answers about Butler. He continued, making reference to the location where Trump was shot in July. We have not gotten answers about things like the Las Vegas shooting from many years ago. So part of that investigation that our folks are doing is they are going to provide evidence they find of motive, evidence of his associations, and evidence of his belief. I think that is very important that the public gets the real story on that. And I completely agree. This is exactly what we need here. We need transparency. We need to see what's actually going on, and we need to actually see the truth, because the federal government does not want to tell us the truth whatsoever. So moving on to the next article, we actually have Israel detonating thousands of Hezbollah walkie-talkies in the second strike, report says. So Israel reportedly conducted a second wave of mass precision bombings against the Iranian-backed Hezbollah terrorist organization on Wednesday, detonating thousands of walkie-talkies used by the group. Israel blew up thousands of radio walkie-talkies, which were used by Hezbollah members in Lebanon, in a second wave of its intelligence operation, which started on Tuesday with the explosions of Hezbollah pager devices, per 2 sources with knowledge. Said Israeli journalist Barak Ravid. He added the personal radios that were bottled body strapped in advance by Israeli intelligence, services, and then delivered to Hezbollah. We were part of the military's emergency communication system, which was supposed to be used during a war with Israel, the sources said. The news comes after Israel wounded thousands of Hezbollah terrorists on Tuesday and then detonated pagers that they were using to communicate. The pagers were packed with a small amount of explosives and a switch that allowed them to be remotely detonated. The first wave of strikes injured approximately 4,000 people, including hundreds who were in critical condition, and killed at least a dozen others. Videos were posted online about Israel's second wave of attacks appeared to show even more significant damage. Yeah, so you can see motorcycles were just completely blown up after a Hezbollah radio exploded. And you can see the communication devices that actually exploded. So yeah, again, a lot of people are having mixed reactions about this because Israel just cannot defend itself without people nitpicking about how they do it. So they said, listen, what we're going to do is, instead of sending a bomb over there and killing so many people for little to no gain whatsoever, what we're going to do is we're just going to give all of the terrorists personal bombs and then blow them up personally. So yeah, so if they kill, let's just say 100 people and one person that is innocent dies, that's a 1% ratio, which is actually a really good ratio in the time of war, because yes, war is ugly, war is disgusting. If we had a perfect world, we wouldn't have war. We would have a perfect unison world where we all get along, we don't have any opposite opinions, and we all agree with each other, and that would be a euphoria. Of course, that would be the perfect reality that we would all live in. Nobody would die in war. Everybody would just get along to get along, or go along to get along, as the saying says. But the thing is, that's not our reality. We don't live in a euphoria. We live in a reality at which people don't agree with each other. People need to defend themselves. And when you start an attack on Israel's soil or another first world country's soil, you must fully expect that the other country is going to continue to attack you until you give up, you surrender to them, or at bare minimum, you tell them that nothing like this is ever going to happen in the future, and you apologize for your actions, and you actually have remorse. But until then, a war cannot stop, because how do they believe that you will not do something like this again? With that being said, we have another article from the Daily Wire. We have the Iranians hacking Trump campaign, and then turning over the stolen materials over to the Biden-Harris campaign. So, the Islamic Republic of Iran hacked former President Donald Trump's campaign and turned over the stolen materials to the Biden-Harris campaign, federal officials said in a statement. Federal officials from ODNI, FBI, and CISA said in a joint statement that Iranian hackers sent stolen materials to then Biden-Harris campaign officials in June and July. Information that the hackers sent to the then Biden-Harris campaign contained an excerpt taken from stolen non-public material from former President Trump's campaign as text and emails. This is further proof that the Iranians are actively interfering in our election to help Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, because they know President Trump will restore his tough sanctions and stand against their reign of terror, said Kathleen Trevitt, Trump campaign national press secretary. Kamala and Biden must come clean on whether they used the hacked material given to them by the Iranians to hurt President Trump. How did they know, and when did they know it? Although President Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race mid-July after being crushed by Trump during the presidential debate, many of his campaign were retained on Harris when the campaign was given to her. Of course, all of that information just was given over to her, and don't tell me for a second it was not. It definitely was. The federal officials claimed that there was currently no information indicating Biden-Harris officials relied on those emails. The statement claimed that the Iranians' goal was to stoke discord and undermine confidence in the electoral process. Of course, because Iran wants to just ruin America, and they want to make America just like Iran, which is dictatorial and ugly and just falling apart, not good whatsoever. Which is contradicted in part by numerous statements the federal officials have made in recent months about how Iran is specifically trying to stop Trump. Okay, because they know how powerful he is. That just tells you right there. Who are they pro? They are pro Harris and Biden. Okay, so do you agree with Iran? Do you not support Iran? So you have to say here, and you have to say, if a terroristic organization is supporting a presidential candidate and not supporting another candidate, take your guess. Just like Putin. Putin is fully endorsing Kamala Harris. Just take a guess. He's endorsing Kamala Harris because he knows that Trump will be more powerful against him. Just like Iran. Iran is going against Trump just because of the fact that they know that Kamala will go very easy on them, but Trump will go harsh on them because they deserve it. With that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. Digging right into another Daily Wire article, we have a Kentucky sheriff arrested after shooting a judge, which is just absolutely absurd. I never thought that I would be able to say this. Just crazy. In an incident that left one person dead, a Kentucky sheriff was arrested after shooting a judge at the Letcher County Courthouse in Westburg, Kentucky. According to the Mountain Eagle, Letcher County Sheriff Mikey Steens, a Democrat, is accused of shooting District Judge Kevin Mullins, District Judge of this 47th Judicial District, in his office. Mullins served as the Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney in Letcher County before being appointed as a district judge by Democrat Governor Stephen Bisher in 2009. According to the profile of Mullins for the Cocaine, Meth, and Stimulant Summit of November 2022. Letcher County Central High School in Wittenberg locked down the school, wrote on Facebook. The coroner confirmed one person was killed, but did not identify the person as Mullins, which is just absolutely absurd. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on in Kentucky. I don't know if they need to investigate this. I mean, obviously, we don't have many info right now about this, so we're just going to take it as it is, and I will update you guys when we have anything. But as for right now, it does not look like it was justified. Some people in the comments are saying that the judge did something sexual to the sheriff's daughter, so I'm not 100% sure on this. I don't want to sit here and say that is fully exactly what happened because it's pure speculation in the comment section, so less than 1% actually true. But the thing is, as for right now, we don't really know what's going on. I don't think that this should have happened. I mean, based on the information that I have in front of me, which is little to no information, I don't think that this should have happened. But if there's a justified response for this, and I don't know, there's very, very few examples that this would be justified, like self-defense purposes. If it were justified, I will take back what I said and not being justified. But as for right now, with the information, which is no information I have, it does not look justified to me. So, but this is not justified in this next article we're going to get to. So, the Federal Reserve rides to Kamala's rescue. They are actually lowering interest rates. Now, a lot of people are celebrating this and saying, whoa, they're lowering interest rates. Okay, look at your credit card statement. Look at how many percentage points you're paying every single month in interest. Okay. Now, follow me for 1 second here. The Federal Reserve is lowering interest rates. Is the Federal Reserve Chase Bank, Capital One, Discover Card? No, they're not. They're not going to lower your rates immediately after the Federal Reserve lowers your rates. Maybe by 6 months from now, you'll have a lower rate on your credit card. So, what this really means is that the lower the interest rate, as for right now, more people can buy houses. And if more people are spending, then the economy is booming because now, again, people can take out loans for a lesser amount. They can buy more things. They can put more money into the economy, stuff like that. So again, the Federal Reserve is lowering interest rates, but I don't believe that they should because we shoot for a 2% interest rate. We had 2.5. They said that interest has been lowered and it is now at a new normal. So they want to lower interest rates again. I think that they should have higher interest rates, get inflation down to 1%, then lower the interest rates because people should not be spending money that you do not have anyway. So again, I just don't think that this is actually something that people should be doing. Again, taking out a loan isn't the worst thing, but the thing is, if you're taking out a loan for something you cannot afford, that's not good for the economy either because you're spending money that you just do not have. So, moving on to the next article, we actually have Chicago teachers say that they were told to give illegal migrants passing grades. Nearly 50,000 migrants have arrived in bus by Chicago in 2022. Multiple teachers at the Chicago public schools, I should say, says administrators told them to give illegal migrant students passing grades last school year. Several elementary school teachers told WGN Radio that they were instructed by school administrators to give their migrant students a 70% in every subject to approve their move up to the next grade, even if the children demonstrated severe academic deficiencies, which is not good. Complicating matters, none of the elementary school students in these teachers' classes spoke any English, while the teachers spoke no Spanish. The schools did not offer classes to teach English as a second language, which is just crazy, because I went to a public school and they had ELL, I think it was called, which is for primary Spanish people coming from Hispanic households to learn English a little bit better. Last month, Chicago Public Schools CEO Pedro Martinez assured that migrant students were held at the same standards as Chicago's American students. However, a Chicago Public Schools spokesperson later acknowledged to WGN Radio that the district's guidelines for moving students to their next grade are not modified to severe. The specialized needs they are modified to serve the specialized needs of English language learners, the ELL. Nearly 50,000 illegal migrants arrived in bus to Chicago from Texas's border since 2022. The city is currently paying to shelter nearly 13,000 of them. The sudden influx have strained the city finances and caused the city leaders to scramble for space to shelter the new arrivals. For months, the city debated how to keep migrants warm during the winter months. Overall, the city spent more than $400 million on the migrant crisis over the past 2 years, with much money going to private companies that worked on sheltering migrants. Yep, because if you want to be in sanctuary city, then you're going to put your money exactly where your mouth is, unless you retract that statement and say, well, it will not be a sanctuary city any longer because we do not have funding for this. And I'm sorry that I even said this at the very first place, and we should not do this, so I'm going to send these people back to Mexico. That's exactly what Chicago should do, but of course, Chicago is too stupid to actually realize that they made a mistake. So, with that being said, we do have another article here. We have a Daily Wire article. We have Harris says authorities can walk into homes and inspect guns and resurface clip. So, a clip of Vice President Kamala Harris went viral this week that showed remarks she made as San Francisco's district attorney, in which she said that the police had a right to walk into people's homes and inspect their legally owned firearms, which is just absolutely absurd, on top of another absurdity. The Democrat presidential nominee made these remarks while speaking to Reuters during a press conference in 2007 about a law that was being introduced that she helped write. Harris said that we're going to require responsible behaviors among everyone in this community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way that you conduct your affairs. Excuse you? Excuse you. No, you're not. You are absolutely not going to do this. And I hope that you I really do hope that these federal people actually do this so they can actually see the First Amendment in full swing. Or the Second Amendment. I should say they're going to use the First Amendment to talk to you, and then they're going to use the Second Amendment briefly after that. Okay, if these federal investigators actually do this, First and Second Amendment will be applicable to this very decision here. So trend very lightly, please. Okay, this is a warning to trend very lightly, because our Second Amendment is still our Second Amendment. If you would like to refer back to that gives the people power over the government, and it makes sure that Congress does not pass any law infringing upon that right to carry a firearm to use against our government. And that means that the people make sure that there is a well-regulated militia in this country. So, trend very lightly. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not conducting violence. I'm simply just saying trend very lightly, because this is the United States of America. This is not a communistic state whatsoever. We will not comply with this. It was bundled with the other gun control provisions, including new requirement for legal gun distributors to support an inventory to the chief of police every 6 months, and a ban on possessing guns even legally in public housing, the report said. The NRA said in a post that included this video, Kamala Harris wants mass gun confiscation, and she's willing to weaponize the government to enter your home and seize your legally owned guns, which is just absolutely absurd. Oh, goodness. I just can't. Yeah. I just want Kamala and the federal investigators to try doing this in Florida. Just the people, or Texas or Oklahoma, any state that actually is pro Second Amendment, without requiring any identification card to obtain a firearm and stuff like that. Try this in those small towns. It will not work out in your favor whatsoever. It really won't. It really won't. the repercussions of this will be pretty catastrophic. And I really hope that this does not happen, because nobody's going to comply with this whatsoever. With that being said, we're going to sum up this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you do like this take and you do want to see more, subscribe down below and turn post notifications on so you will be notified as soon as I post my next episode on Monday. With that being said, thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.